Hello, everyone. Mm, okay, I need you to really focus right now because what I'm about to share with you is complicated and layered, and you need to hear every part of this. There's a situation unfolding in your life at this exact moment that involves more players than you realize. Someone has feelings for you, real feelings, the kind that keep them up at night, the kind that make them think about you when they shouldn't be thinking about you, the kind that are actually love, even if they haven't named it as love yet. Welcome back. It's Anna. And what I'm picking up on is messy. They're in love with you, but there's a third party fighting hard to keep them stuck. And you're sitting here completely unaware that there's this entire battle happening around you. A battle for someone's attention, for their loyalty, for their future, and you're one of the prizes being fought over. Let me break down what I'm sensing because this is intricate. You may have someone in your current reality who's been acting inconsistent with you, hot and cold, present then distant, interested then unavailable, and you've been trying to figure out what you did wrong or what changed or why they can't just be straightforward. But what if it's not about you at all? What if there's someone else in their life actively working to maintain their position? Someone who sees you as a threat, someone who's doing everything they can to keep this person from fully choosing you. Some people experience this dynamic without seeing it clearly. They feel the push and pull, but they don't understand the mechanics of it. They sense resistance, but they can't identify where it's coming from. It might feel like every time you and this person get closer, something happens. They pull back. They create distance. They remind you of all the reasons why this can't work. And then, just when you're about to give up, they pull you back in. Let's pause here for a second because this pattern is important. This reflection invites you to consider, what if that push-pull isn't about their feelings for you? What if it's about external pressure they're dealing with? You may be assuming this person is just confused or non-committal or playing games, but it's possible they're actually in a genuine internal war. They have real feelings for you, but they also have real ties to someone else, not necessarily romantic ties. Could be family pressure, could be a complicated ex situation, could be someone who has emotional leverage over them. And that third party, they're not sitting back passively. They're actively working to maintain their hold. They're reminding this person of history, of obligations, of reasons to stay, of fears about leaving. It's possible this third party is using every tool they have: guilt, manipulation, promises of change, threats of consequences, whatever works to keep this person from fully stepping toward you. In some situations, people stay in dynamics that don't serve them because leaving feels more complicated than staying, even when they want to leave, even when they know they should leave. The web of obligation and history and fear keeps them stuck. Hold on is less than hash-on. Zero hash is greater than, let me get specific about what this third party dynamic actually looks like. There's probably someone in this person's life who's noticed their interest in you, who's picked up on the shift in their energy, who's sensed that their attention is going somewhere else, and that someone is threatened. It's possible this third party is currently ramping up their efforts, being extra attentive, creating situations that require this person's presence, manufacturing crises that need their help, anything to keep them engaged and distracted from you. Some people are very strategic about maintaining their position in someone's life. They can sense when they're losing ground, and they know exactly which buttons to push to regain it. You may be completely unaware of conversations happening about you where this third party is questioning your motives, planting doubts, creating narratives that make you seem less appealing or less trustworthy, painting themselves as the safer choice, and the person you care about, they're caught in the middle, feeling pulled in two directions, wanting one thing but being convinced they should want another. This reflection invites you to consider who in your current situation might be influencing someone you care about against you. It might not be obvious. This third party might not be openly hostile to you. They might be polite when you interact, friendly even, but behind the scenes, they're working to undermine your connection. Let me talk about what being in love with you looks like in this person's current experience. It's possible they think about you constantly. You're the first thought in the morning and the last thought at night. They compare everything to you. Every interaction with anyone else is measured against how it feels to be with you. Some people experience love as an obsession before they experience it as a choice. They can't stop thinking about someone, can't stop wanting to be near them, can't stop imagining what life could be like if they were brave enough to choose them. You may have caught glimpses of this, moments where this person looked at you in a way that revealed everything, times when they said something that was more honest than they intended, instances where their actions showed their feelings even though their words stayed careful. But then they retreated, pulled back, created distance again, and you were left wondering if you imagined the whole thing. This reflection invites you to consider, what if you didn't imagine it? What if every moment where you felt their feelings was real and the distance afterwards was them fighting against those feelings? It might make their behavior make more sense. The inconsistency isn't because they're playing games. It's because they're being played by their own internal conflict and external pressure. There's something about the third party's tactics that's important to understand. It's possible they're not just fighting to keep this person, they're fighting specifically to keep them from you because you represent something different. Something that would fundamentally change this person's life. Something that would take them away from the familiar dynamic. Some people recognize that they're losing someone not to another person, but to a better version of that person's life. And that's even more threatening because it's not just about competition, it's about obsolescence. You may represent growth to this person, evolution, a different future, and the third party represents comfort, familiarity, the known path, even if the known path isn't healthy or happy. And the third party is banking on fear of the unknown being stronger than desire for something better. This reflection invites you to consider, what if this person is being kept stuck not by love for the third party, but by fear of change? It might change how you see the situation. It's not necessarily a choice between you and them. It's a choice between staying in what's familiar and stepping into what's possible. Let me slow down and talk about what you're currently experiencing in all this. It's possible you feel like you're going crazy. You can feel this person's feelings. You know there's something real between you, but their actions don't match what you're sensing, and you're starting to doubt your own perception. Some people gaslight themselves in situations like this. They talk themselves out of what they feel. They convince themselves they're reading too much into things. They minimize the connection to protect themselves from disappointment. You may be doing this right now, telling yourself you're just friends, that you're imagining the chemistry, that their feelings aren't that deep, that you should move on. But your gut keeps telling you something different. Your intuition keeps saying there's more here than what's visible on the surface. This reflection invites you to consider, what if your intuition is right and you should trust what you're sensing? It might mean sitting with uncertainty. It might mean being patient while this person works through their situation. It might mean maintaining your boundaries while staying open to possibility. None of that is easy. All of that requires emotional maturity and self-respect. There's something happening with how this person talks about you to others that reveals their true feelings. It's possible when you're not around. Your name comes up frequently. They mention you in conversations. They bring you up even when there's no reason to. They light up when someone else mentions you. Some people reveal their feelings through their inability to stop talking about someone, even when they're trying to hide their interest. It leaks out in how often that person's name is on their lips. You may hear through mutual connections that this person talks about you, that they've said positive things, that they seem interested even if they're not acting on it directly with you. And that gap between what they say to others and what they do with you, that's the third party's influence. That's the external pressure keeping them from being direct. This reflection invites you to consider, has anyone mentioned to you that this person talks about you when you're not there? It might be information that confirms what you already sensed, or it might be new information that shifts your understanding of the dynamic. Let me talk about the third party's relationship to this person. It's possible it's complicated. Maybe it's an ex who won't let go. Maybe it's a current partner who they're not happy with but feel obligated to. Maybe it's a family member whose approval they desperately need. Maybe it's a friend who's possessive and doesn't want to share their attention. Whatever the relationship is, there's leverage, there's history, there's emotional entanglement that makes walking away feel impossible even when staying feels wrong. Some people stay in toxic dynamics for years because the fear of leaving is greater than the pain of staying, because the known misery feels safer than unknown possibility. You may be wondering why this person doesn't just choose you if their feelings are real, why they don't just walk away from the third party and commit to what they actually want. And the answer is complicated. It's not just about what they want, it's about what they're afraid of, what they feel they owe, what they've been conditioned to believe they should do. This reflection invites you to consider, what if this person's hesitation has nothing to do with how much they want you and everything to do with how scared they are of change? It might help you have compassion for their struggle without taking it personally. It might help you see that their inability to choose you yet isn't a reflection of your worth. There's something about timing and readiness that's present in this situation. It's possible this person isn't ready to make the choice they need to make, not because they don't know what they want is less than #0, 5# is greater than, but because they don't have the courage yet, because they haven't hit their breaking point yet, because they're still trying to make the old situation work even though it's not working. Some people need to exhaust every option with the familiar before they can fully commit to the new. They need to prove to themselves that the old way really is dead before they can step fully into the new way. You may be waiting for this person to reach that point, watching them try one more time with the third party, seeing them give one more chance to a dynamic that's already expired. And that's frustrating because you can see clearly what they can't see yet. You can see that the old situation is done, that they're holding on to something that's already gone. This reflection invites you to consider, are you currently watching someone try to revive something that's already dead? It might be painful to witness, especially when you know you could offer them something better, something real, something that actually has a future. But you can't force someone's timing. You can't make them ready before they're ready. Let me talk about what the third party is actually offering versus what you represent. It's possible the third party offers safety, predictability, no risk. They're the known quantity, the comfortable choice, the path of least resistance. But you, you represent possibility, growth, a different kind of future, something that requires courage and faith and willingness to step into the unknown. Some people choose safety over possibility every single time. Not because safety makes them happy, but because the risk of possibility feels too great. You may represent everything this person actually wants, but is too afraid to reach for, and the third party represents everything they think they should want based on external expectations and internal fear. That's the real competition, not you versus the third party as people, but possibility versus safety as life philosophies. This reflection invites you to consider, what if this isn't about you not being enough, but about this person not being brave enough yet? It might shift how you hold space for this situation. It might help you maintain your self-worth while someone else does their work. There's something about your role in all this that needs to be clear. It's possible you're not meant to fight for this person. You're not meant to compete with the third party. You're not meant to convince or persuade or prove your value. Your role is to be yourself, to be available but not desperate, to be open but not waiting, to be interested but not invested in an outcome you can't control. Some people make the mistake of trying to compete with a third party, trying to be better, trying to offer more, trying to win someone over through effort. But that's not your job. Your presence is enough. If this person can't see your value without you performing it, they're not ready for you. You may be tempted to fight, to make your case, to explain why you'd be better for them than whoever they're stuck with. But don't chase, don't convince, don't compete. This reflection invites you to consider, is less than #0. 5 hash is greater than what? If the most powerful thing you can do is simply exist in your truth and let them choose, it might feel passive, but it's actually the most empowered position, because you're not giving away your power by chasing. You're maintaining it by being grounded in your worth. Let me talk about what happens with third-party situations like this. It's possible this creates a prolonged situation where things feel stuck, where you're in limbo, where you don't know if you should wait or move on, where every day brings a new small sign but no real movement. Some people can stay in these triangles for months or even years, waiting for someone to make a choice, hoping they'll finally be brave enough to leave what's not working and choose what could work. You may be in that waiting period right now, and it's excruciating because you can see the potential, you can feel the connection, you know what could be possible if this person would just step forward. But they're not stepping forward yet, and you have to decide, how long are you willing to wait? This reflection invites you to consider, what are your actual boundaries around this situation, because waiting indefinitely isn't healthy. Putting your life on hold for someone who's stuck isn't fair to you. Being the option they're considering while they're still entangled with someone else isn't a position of respect. You deserve better than that. You deserve to be chosen clearly, directly, without competition or hesitation. There's something about self-respect that's crucial here. It's possible you need to be willing to walk away, not as a manipulation tactic, not to force their hand, but genuinely as an act of self-love and self-preservation. Some people will only make a choice when they risk losing the choice. When you're always available, always waiting, always understanding, there's no urgency for them to actually decide. You may need to create consequences for indecision. Not mean consequences, just natural ones, like you moving on with your life, like you dating other people, like you investing your energy elsewhere. And If that pushes them to finally choose, great. And if it doesn't, then you have your answer about their readiness and their courage. This reflection invites you to consider, what would it look like to honor yourself in this situation instead of just waiting? You remain in complete control here. You can wait as long as you want. You can stay available while they work through their stuff. You can be patient with their process, or you can set boundaries. You can require clarity. You can move forward with your life while staying open but not stuck. The choice is yours. It always has been. You may be realizing as you read this that you've been giving away too much power in this situation, that you've been so focused on their feelings and their struggle that you've neglected your own needs. Take what resonates, discard what doesn't. Trust what you know in your core. Before we close, I need to ask you something direct. Who in your life right now is stuck between you and someone else? Who's showing interest but not acting on it? Drop it in the comments if you need to process this out loud. And this, what boundaries do you need to set to protect yourself while someone else figures out their situation? What would change if you stopped waiting and started living? They're in love with you? Maybe, probably. But a third party is fighting hard to keep them stuck? Definitely. And you need to decide, are you willing to wait while they fight that battle? Or do you need to move forward and let them catch up if they can? Not someday, right now, today. Trust yourself with this. Trust that you deserve someone who chooses you clearly. Trust that being someone's maybe isn't good enough. Trust that real love doesn't make you wait indefinitely while someone else figures out their mess. You don't need to compete for anyone. The right person will choose you without hesitation. I'll see you in the next one. And listen, don't let someone's inability to choose you make you question your worth. Their struggle is about them. Your worth is independent of their readiness. Stand in your power, set your boundaries, live your life,